Hi viewers, this week we're talking about fatherhood and feminism. I'm going to kick off by reading you a story before you go to bed, like any good dad would. Whenever a female has fucked up relationship with her father, or absence of a father figure during her childhood, it tends to spill into any adult relationships that they embark on, usually to the chagrin of any poor male in their life. That charming excerpt is the Urban Dictionary definition of the term daddy issues, a phrase used and prevalent in popular culture and pop psychology. Now, I'm no psychoanalyst, but I'm pretty sure that the whole Electra complex had kind of been debunked. But, it would seem that the population and the media have turned into veritable Freuds and Jungs by the way that everybody talks about the connection between women and their fathers. I grew up in a single parent family, and although I've always been able to see my dad as often as I could and he's provided financial support for me, obviously it's just not the same as having a pa sort of around full time. And sure, the absentee father thing, as discussed and wonderfully analysed by Subi, is a bit of a bummer sometimes. For example, when you need an ally against your mum, need somebody at your beck and call when your mum's not there, and I can't actually think of any other reasons that are specific to fathers. You see, that's kind of it. Luckily, I'm privileged to have had financial support from my dad and a friggin' hard-working mother. So, financial problems, although they've occurred, they've never been a blight upon my life in a single-parent family. Otherwise, the cons of not having a father are reduced to the fact that I love my dad and I wish that I could see him more. And, that's kind of it. Other than that, I feel that as much as I would love my dad to be around at various points in my life, my mother equally has been capable of doing all the things that my father, according to gender binary, should have been his role to do. I think that it's so incredibly insulting to women and to men that an absentee father therefore equals a detrimental effect on women's relationships, their mental health. I think it's a complete fucking farce, and women are constantly told by other men, by the media, and by other women that this daddy complex is the reason for any unfulfilling relationships in their life or low self-esteem. So that's balls. And yeah, as I said, people make jokes about daddy issues and the Oedipal complex when they're talking about Oedipus, whatever, talking about men, but I think with women it's more accepted that that's actually the truth. It's not just some crazy joke that Freud made up, whereas I think that's how it's sort of represented when people talk about, it's more of a joke, like a sex with your mum joke with men. With women it's like, yeah, that's why she's crazy, she has daddy issues. Anyway, in honour of Father's Day, on a more positive note, I would like to do a shout out to my dad, who I love a lot, who's actually often a better ally at discussing feminism than my mother. No offence, Mum. Me and my dad share a tendency to obsess over and collect sort of interests, and we're both kind of well versed, without bragging, about popular culture, which makes conversations between us really interesting and easy. I find it really easy to talk to my dad about everything. Of course, him being my dad and him being not around all the time, I've got a habit of talking about my dad to other people, and it's from this and their responses, not my personal bias, on which I base the fact that my dad is a really interesting, engaging and funny person, and without his musical taste and his love of clothes and food and Sherlock Holmes, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And I'd like to thank my dad, so thank you, Dad, for all the times that you've rang me up and asked me which scene of Harry Potter you're playing and laughed when I got it right. And thank you for all the pictures of my sisters and cats that you've sent me with funny things on their heads, and yeah, Love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day to everybody else. Have a good Sunday. Goodbye.